So this is going to be a demonstration how to create this image that I have on the left. The first thing we're going to want to do is create all the boxes. So go into the rectangle tool, click, and make each one of those the height and the width 0.75. And click OK. Now you have that selected. Go up to Object, Move, Transform, Move, and you want to move the horizontal over 0.75 because you want it to move over the whole width. You see how that's done that? Make sure that you hit the word copy at the end. Then what you can do is you could either go to transform again to move again, it says transform again, or use Command D as a shortcut to keep transforming. So do that until you have 8 of those across. Now that you have those 8, what you want to do is select all of those and group them. So we're going to go ahead and select all of those 8 boxes by dragging with your selection tool over it. Group them. Go up under there and group them. And now you're going to go to transform, move again, and you're going to change that 0.75, switch it with vertical. So you'll have 0 in the horizontal and 0.75 in the vertical. Hit OK, or I'm sorry, don't hit OK. After you have that done, hit copy, and then you can again use Command D until you get 8 rows. So you can see that each one time you hit Command D, it moves it down 7.75 inches. Now select all of those and group them and move it together, just so you don't have to group them, just to be able to move them. Now what you're going to do is you're going to start coloring in the squares. So the way you can choose the color, if you just choose one of those squares. Oh, so I realized what I did is I colored them all. I had them all selected and I chose that lime green. Now you can go in and after you've ungrouped them, you have to have everything ungrouped. Then you could go in and pick certain squares and make them a different color. So I'm picking the 4 corners. By holding down Shift, you can pick them all. And then double click on that color over there. And what you can play with here is either moving them there, you can move the colors around there, or you could do it on that other thing that's over there to the left, that other menu, the color menu. You get a color that you like. Now what you should do is go in and make the checkerboard. So decide, you're going to do every other square around the edges, and you're going to make those a color, and you could double click on the color again and then play around till you get a color that you like. And you can see, as you move that, you can see it actually happening. I'm going to go down to a brown or red because I don't want it to look like Christmas. Okay. And then hit OK. Now you can choose squares and just use your eyedropper tool to pick that same browny kind of red. All right. Go over there, get that eyedropper tool and click on that. Deselect those and go select more. Holding down Shift when you want to select the second one. Okay. And then go down, do the same thing here on this side. And hold, you want to use your eyedropper and choose that. Okay, so now we've got those done. Now, why don't we start playing with some other things. Choosing the other green, or the other squares that are in those rows, and you could actually go along and choose all of them. Now that you know, it's pretty easy to see which ones you want to choose. And double click on that color. Oops, by accident I made them all that, so now I want to go in and change that color and see, I can see it happening. Okay, it's looking pretty good. Now we have to go in and do the next bunch, the next level down. Now, if you decide that you would rather do this green a little differently, I kind of would like to make it more blue. That's what I'm going to do. And I kind of like that better. Yeah. Now choose the next row of colors. And you can decide, I'm doing them where they're lined up with the deep red, maybe the orange, I'm not sure. I'm going to sort of play around with it. See what color I want there. I'm going to go with something that's kind of a yellow. So I'll bring that down a little towards the yellows. And then I'm just going to do the same for all of every other checkerboards, squares. And what I'm showing you right now is that you can actually change the color with these sliders as well. One other thing you can do too, if you just want to lighten or darken the color, if you hold down Shift while you're moving the sliders, they all move at the same time. But personally, I prefer the other method because I like seeing the colors that way. It makes it easier for me. So I'm going to go back to that. And okay, so now we've got all the deeper yellow, or maybe that's the brighter yellow. Let's see what happens. Select all of the other ones. And I think I'll probably fill it with that same yellow, maybe not. Yes, and then go over to the sliders just to show you I'm holding down Shift, and there I just added a little black to it, a little bit of blue to it. I guess I wasn't holding down Shift at that point. All right. Now for this next, what I'm going to do is make a new rectangle that is half the height of one of the squares. So it'll be 0.75 by 0.25. You get that rectangle tool again, click. And this time make it only 0.25 high, so it'll be half of the height of the square. And I'm going to change the color. Yeah, I'm going to have to change that color before I move it because I can't see it. And then I'm just going to fit it right in that corner right there. And I'll do one every other. Then I'm going to select those two and go back up and hold down Option, and that will allow me to copy them. Then I'm going to select all four of them and group them and hold down Option and drag down. All right, and I'm going to do that again. And I'm going to do it again until I get all the way down there to the bottom. So now what I've got are the 16 green squares, but then I've got 2, 4, 6, 24 half squares on top of them. Okay, so next, let's see what we're going to do next. Okay, I'm going to put a rectangle around the center area. Now it came in with a color. I want to switch that. See, I switched it from fill to stroke. And I'm going to now go down here and change the stroke thickness. And what's happening is that it is thickening on both the inside and outside of that line. Let me change it to another color so you can see it better. See how the actual line is in the middle of the color area? So we're going to change that. We're going to do that by going to stroke, all right? And then over here, that little thing, click on that and do show options. And you can see there are different choices you have. So right now, what's showing is that one right there. It's got the line in between the inside and outside. We want to go to the one that will have all of the color on the outside of the line. That's all on the inside. And now this one is all on the outside. That's how we want it to look. So I'm going to say okay to that, or maybe you don't even have to say okay, but there we go. Okay. Now with a line, you make sure it's only a stroke. You don't want to have a fill. Okay. Now next, I think we're going to put a circle in those four corners. Okay, I'm grouping it all, just so I don't accidentally move something. Oh, I've got to make it a little bigger, so it's closer in size to the one that I had done previously. But because I grouped it, I can hold down Shift and drag, and everything will enlarge proportionally. Okay, now I'm going to make a circle. I went to that rectangle tool and changed it to ellipse, and I'm going to make it 0.75 by 0.75, so it'll be a perfect circle. And I don't want a stroke, so I'm going to go over there and switch it. And I don't know if that's the color I want, so I'm going to play a little bit and see what other color. Maybe I do want that. Now see, it's centered directly in there, but I want it to actually touch the edges. So I'm going to bring it in there and just holding down Shift, drag it to make it fit the whole thing. You can see it kind of pops right in. Now I'm going to copy by holding down Option and bring one over there. Then I'm going to select both of them and hold down Option and drag them down to the bottom. You can see when you hit Option, you get that double arrow there. Okay. Now, making that band that sits on top. What we're going to do with that is we're going to use that blending tool that we used in class. So we're going to make two smaller squares, and I'm going to make them a quarter inch, so it's 0.25 and 0.25, the width and the height. And I'm going to make it a different color. And you know what, I didn't like that size. I didn't know it would be so small. So I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. And I'm going to make it a different color. I'm going to choose some kind of a bluish color, blue-greenish color. That one, that's really the dark one. I'm going to now put this in position. Move one across, duplicate it, by using the Option key. Get another one, make this one lighter. And then select them both and go up to that Object, Blend the options. Make sure it says Smooth Color, which it does. Go back to Blend and Make. And there, look, I've got that. Now I want to put that in position. So there's one. Put that in position over the circles. Let's see if I got the right size. So I made it too big. So now I want to make sure that it's fitting better. So I think I have to bring the other side in a little too. I'm not sure. Well, that looks kind of okay, I guess. So now we're going to duplicate this with the Option key, and now that's selected, we're going to actually rotate it. We want to put, if we're going to do it on the left side, we want the light end touching the light end. We're going to lay it on top of there, and we'll do that until we have 2 more times. When you're turning like that, if you hold down Shift, it will stop at 45-degree angles. So you can get it, when we want it, I think 90 degrees, it'll just do it automatically if you're holding down Shift. Now we want the dark one up at the top, so let's bring it up, grab that, and, oh, no, that's not what we want. Turn it around, yep, and hold down Shift, and it will pop right into completely parallel. Okay, so we've got that. Make sure they're lined up properly. You might have to get in really close to do that. Now what I'm doing is grouping them so they become one object. And then I'm going to go to Effects, Stylize. Stylize, and drop shadow. And look how nice that looks. That looks really good. Okay. Now we want to put smaller circles on top there that are white. Those will represent sort of screws or bolts holding this, because this thing now starts to look like metal the way it's shining. And so we need some kind of bolts to hold it down. And we're just going to keep doing the same thing where we duplicate by using the Option key. Come back down and use this. You can hold down the Shift key to get it to actually move in line. Now I'm going to put another little circle on top of that will be black. This time I'm going to do it 125 instead of 25, so it'll be 1/8 of an inch. And to move this one, because it's so small, unless I blow everything up, and you'll see I keep accidentally deleting it, I'm going to use my arrow keys to move it. So I'm moving it down, and if you hold Shift and use the arrow keys at the same time, it goes a little bigger increments. All right, so that's not quite in the right position, so I've got to wait till I get that in the right position, centered on that other sphere. Good. Select it, and select it, and use my arrow keys. Oh no, I was able to grab that one. Okay, now I've got 2 of them, and I'm going to do the same thing, grab 2, and drag it down, but I accidentally duplicated the metal bars, so I'm going to try again. And one thing, if you're holding down Option and you start hitting the arrow keys, each hit will make another duplicate, so be careful with that. All right, so there, we're pretty much finished. Now I just want to play around a bit with changing some colors to see if I like the colors or not. So I'm not crazy about the lime green in there, so what I want to do is change in that center area the lime green to a different color. Now, because those are full squares sitting behind 2 or 1 smaller squares, I've got to choose that whole green area. Now I'm just going to choose all of them, all the greens. I'm going to go in and hit, I don't want to choose the dark green. I don't want to choose that. I want to choose the light green. So go until I hit that light green. There. and then choose all of those greens. There's one way you can do it. You could choose one, and then you can go up to select same fill, and it will select all of the light greens. So let's try that. Just choose one. Go to select, same fill, and it selected all of them, and then you can use your dropper to change them all. See? Now I still have some more things I want to do, so let's see. I'm not sure I like the color of the metal piece around the edge, so I think I'm going to try changing that, and I'm going to try changing it by changing the original 2 circles. So I probably have to ungroup those 4. See, I can't just change it. I have to go in and, because remember it's that blend. So I have to, what I'm going to do is, first of all, ungroup. Because I only want to do 1 at a time. I can't do all 4 at a time. I'm going to try and get that circle. No, I don't want that one. I want the one that's across the top. I want to unblend it. That's not what I wanted to do, but that was kind of interesting, isn't it? That's not with the smooth color. That just, I don't even know how I did that. Still trying to figure out how to do it. Got rid of all of those. Now this one I'm gonna go to blend and release the blend, and I'll change those 2 colors. So that one I'm just gonna make it more green. See, I'm using the sliders here, and that's good to use when you are thinking about percentages. You know, you're not just guessing at a color, you're actually thinking about percentages. So I moved one up, and then I held down shift and moved everything back at 1 to make it a lot lighter. I'll make this one darker. Okay, so now I'm moving them all back to make them not quite so dark and add a little bit more blue. Just playing with those. Now I'm gonna hold both of them, go out, back up to blend, and there, okay, so I changed the color. I like that better. Now I need to copy those 4 again. Sorry, there goes the fire engine, and my dog always barks at the fire engine. All right, so now we're gonna do the same thing. We're just gonna get those 4 back together. And once we finish getting them back together, we're gonna add that drop shadow. Remember, if you hold down shift, it just pops into the right direction. And you know, you can experiment. I mean, I'm just showing you how to do this so that you see how to use those tools, but you can experiment with all this stuff. You can experiment with that drop shadow. Like, what if the center area with the orange box around it, what if that was one big group and you did a drop shadow on that? Or what if you took the entire thing and grouped it all together and did a drop shadow on the entire thing? You would probably just get the shadow on the bottom of the big checkerboard, but that can be interesting too. Okay, so did I select them and join them? Select them by holding down Shift. Select all 4 of them. I think maybe I'm trying to get them in better shape. So that's another thing you can do. If you're having trouble getting something to move, if you can't grab it, you can make another object that might be in your way. You can lock that, and then it can't move, and then you can actually grab your pieces there. And you do have to group it to do that drop shadow. You can try what happens if you don't, but you'll see it needs to be grouped. Effect, stylize, drop shadow. And then here's some different things. You can change the color of the drop shadow, you can change the size, the offset, all of that. Again, something to play with. Now make sure, that's what I had done wrong. I had not grouped the correct things together. Here comes another siren. Okay, so we got that drop shadow. This looks pretty darn nice. So now that you've learned how to do this, and I would like you to do this for your assignment, I want you to do this and hand it in before our next class. So we don't have class on the 14th, so it would be before the 21st. This shouldn't take you, I mean, this video is, I think, 30 minutes long. If you don't need to necessarily follow through the same whole video. You might be able to just learn it pretty quickly and create this, but I'd like to see you recreate this on your own because I want you to learn how to do some of these tools. I think what I'm doing here is, I'm changing the color of the circles in the background. Yeah, that does look nice. That blue looks good. Oh, I can't grab it. There's something there that's not letting me grab it. Something's in the way, so I'm gonna see if I'm gonna lock that maybe. Okay, now watch what happens. I grabbed both. I grabbed the square behind it and the circle. So they're gonna both become the same color, you see. That's not what I wanted to do. So now I have to figure out what's going on. Maybe that's grouped and I don't realize it. Or maybe I'm too close to some of the other things and it's just automatically picking them up. So I am going to lock that and the one below it. And the command for locking something is Command and the number 2. And that can become very useful. There, now I was able to do it. And you see how that shade is just not quite right. I'm not going to go into how we could fix that here, but it's something that we might want to talk about at a later date. You can see I'm just trying to get these guys all lined up correctly. That one's okay. Oh no, that one has to come down, just one hit. Okay. That one looks okay. And then, let's see, do I have those lined up properly? Yep. trying to select the black and the white circle. I'm having a little trouble. Yeah, I'm having trouble selecting both at the same time. I think I did it. Nope. No, I didn't. So I just moved one, now I'm moving that one. That one I was able to get the two. See, it seems so crazy why sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Okay, looks pretty good. Now there's one other thing I might try. Let's see. That orange box, I might try and give that a soft corner. Oh, I have to do the drop shadow again. I had ungrouped them. When you have something grouped and you do an effect, when you ungroup it, the effect goes away. There, good. Okay, I would like to make that orange box, I'd like to give it a round corner. So I'm gonna go back up to effects. No, that wasn't it. Stroke, window, stroke. And you can see it has caps. That's for just a line. It will change the cap. But what I want to do is I want the edge. See, I hit that one. Oh, that makes it squared off, and that one gives it a curved edge. It's nice. I like that. That soft edge there. I think that's nice. And I think we're finished. Yep, I think that's just about it. Good luck with this. If you're really struggling, you can Google Adobe Illustrator, how do I? And you will get lots of videos and lots of people answering the questions. How do I add a drop shadow? You go to Effects, Stylize Drop Shadow. How do I lock something? You go to Command plus the number 2. How do I duplicate? Command plus the letter D. Okay. Good luck.